Alright guys, so I just made a review of this. I already forgot the name of this thing, so I just don't even care. This collapsible underhood light. It is just really kind of hunk junk, and that is more intended for, Amazon product review. So I didn't really want to give it, like a shootout against this 4 times more expensive Milwaukee light, but just for the YouTube folks, I absolutely will. Just straight up and to the point, there's absolutely no comparison between these two lights, except they're about equally as bright. The Milwaukee actually advertises to be slightly less bright. I think it's 1200 lumens. This is 1400. If you can tell a difference between that, your eyes are much better than mine. They're both equally as bright. One thing that I'll show you here in a little bit is that the Milwaukee is much more white light, which is kind of cool, kind of nice. For me, I didn't find the blue shade of this one to be offensive or anything. It just, I think the blue SMD panels, these little rectangles that actually make the light are just less expensive. That's probably why they use them. Milwaukee probably just uses higher quality stuff in their light. But other than they are both equally bright, there's no comparison whatsoever. I just went through all the negatives with this thing. But perhaps missed a few things. These lock-up bars, I was actually impressed to see that was actually metal in there on this one. But you saw that. Take a look at what the Milwaukee's got going on. It's a gigantic piece of probably aluminum extrusion that all rides in. This is all an aluminum extrusion. That was something that wasn't clear to me before I purchased this. So I'd never seen one of these in reality before I bought it. I just saw it on YouTube, saw other guys using it and liked it. But this is all metal, or aluminum, pretty sure. This is all an aluminum extrusion. So to the negative effect of that, this thing is heavy. I don't think that would be a problem for most people, but if you are, like an MGB guy, or you've got a Triumph Spitfire or something, it's potential that this might actually be too heavy for your hood. So that's something to keep in mind. Something that I really don't like about this, the Milwaukee light, as compared to the other one, is you can't stand this one up on the floor and use it really. I mean, you can set it on its end, but set it on its face, but that's pretty precarious. It's got this cool hanging hook, which would be handy. If you're in a tractor trailer or something like that, and you wanted to hang this up, or at my previous house, I had a shed and didn't have any electricity to it, so I was always back there with a flashlight. I would have totally just screwed an eyelet up in the rafters, so I could just hang this up out there, and I would have, however many hours of light I wanted. The light spins a free 360. These are just plastic clips, and it pops out of them, but it's not too terribly willing to do it, which I guess is good news. You wouldn't want this falling out, and this being a professional tool, certainly not falling out on the customer's car and hurting anything. It has an immensely quality feel in the hand. If you are at all familiar with Milwaukee's other recent offerings, they've really stepped their game up in the past few years to really start getting into, I would say, more tradesmen's tools rather than just construction. So they're really chasing after that. I guess one thing I will add is the single biggest downside of this thing is just straight up cost. This was very expensive. I got the best deal I could find on this thing, and I did buy it as the whole kit. I got the best deal I could find on it. It was on eBay for $206 shipped with tax. Home Depot lists this at like $280, and of course you go to Home Depot, you're paying tax. But I wanted the whole kit because I'm already invested in the Milwaukee 12-volt system, and the kit comes with another 4.0 battery and another charger, which is kind of cool because I do work in my own shop, and then I go to my dad's house sometimes and do some work for him there, or do some work with him there. So I can just leave a charger there, and if I want to take my tools with me, that's no problem. I have 3 batteries in this system already, which for me means this light is basically an infinite source. I just bang one of these on the charger. These charge up super fast, like in an hour or less. This will be charged and ready to go again. In the impact and the ratchet, these things last a bajillion years. So that really wouldn't be a problem for me. So really the only thing that prevented me from buying this the first time around is it just is really expensive. At the end of the day, you're talking about a flashlight. I'm not a gear guy. I'm not a dude that has a $200 pocket knife and stuff like that. So when you're talking to me about a flashlight and it's over $15, you're talking about a lot of money. Overall, though, haven't really used this for wrenching much yet. I just got it. Overall, though, I think I'm going to be very pleased with this. The springs in the end are much, much stronger than the other one. I don't think it'd ever fall off. These are nice and rubber padded, but I could see where maybe the texture in it could be hazardous to a customer vehicle, depending on what you were doing. You might kind of maybe zip tie a terry cloth towel to it or something and cut those off every so often, replace them. But really, between these two products, there's straight up no comparison, and really there shouldn't be for the price. My disappointments in this were made pretty clear. They just 2 or 3 critical things that they just did wrong on this guy just eliminated it from being a realistic option for me. If they'd fix those 2 or 3 things, I'd buy another one of these in a minute and I'd keep them both. So I have a feeling that if you're under a car, this thing would just be out of this world amazing. If you're doing fuel filters or you got to drop a gas tank to do a fuel pump, stuff like that, this thing would just be the bee's knees. If you just throw it on the car, and even if it only lasted the 2 hours, that's probably going to be more or less okay for me anyway. But yeah, especially if they put a USB fast charger on it, that would completely alleviate that problem for me, because I would, like I said, I would just throw one of these little, candy bar USB chargers on it, and I would be good with that as a hobbyist. I guess an accomplished amateur, I might say. But yeah, so those are my thoughts between these two things. I did see some products in the middle between these, but after the disappointment with this thing, it was like, well, the product in the middle, like I think ATC makes one that looked kind of nice. It was $140. It's like, well, why would I do that? $60 more, I can get what I actually wanted and get it with a battery that already works with my system. So that's what I did. I'll tell you what I actually wanted is I've been waiting for like 2 years for Ryobi to make one of these in their 18-volt line because, for better or worse, I'm already invested in Ryobi tools too, and I actually like them. So I've been waiting for that forever. I'd gladly pay, $100 to get a Ryobi one, halfway priced between these two things, with no battery, and just run the batteries and chargers and stuff I already have. But so far, Home Depot Ryobi hasn't done that. I think that's kind of disappointing because I think they're both owned by ITW, which I think are the guys that actually make the Milwaukee light. So yeah, cheat this thing out by 50%, sell it to me for $100. That's what I wanted. I'm not a pro. I don't really need pro tools all the time, or sometimes I do. But anyway, I'm getting rambly. That's the comparison between these two. The short answer is there is not any comparison. If you're in the market and you're really, really on a budget, I would either straight up just continue to use a drop light, get a nice corded LED drop light that'll get you by, save your pennies up and get the Milwaukee, or wait around for the market to improve, like I was trying to do with the Ryobi light, and see if something pretty good comes out more in line with your budget and buy that. But cannot recommend this one for the reasons I mentioned in depth in the previous video, and I've repeated here, I'm sure. Totally can recommend this one, except it's expensive and weighs a bajillion pounds. Anyway, thanks for watching. We'll see you later, guys. Oops, forgot I'd tell you guys or show you guys how these compare to each other in the darkness. Right now, this is the only light that's on in my garage. This is the Milwaukee. It is stupid bright. This camera's not really good in low light, and you can see everything up there. Even behind the light where I'm at, I can easily get around in here. I can see what's going on, and I've got that pointed completely away from us. So, output's awesome. Give me a sec, I'll grab the other one. All right, this is the Aain light. The panels on it won't quite align to be as directly straightforward as the Milwaukee, but you can see it's plenty bright too. The biggest difference, I don't really think it's a brightness difference. although I think on camera maybe it'll look that way. The biggest difference is this is a much bluer light. The Milwaukee is very, very white. But yeah, I don't see a big performance problem with either of these. I think they'd both be great in that kind of regard. Like I said, if you were out in a pitch black night and you're dealing with a tractor trailer and you needed under 2 hours worth of really good light to get something accomplished, check tire pressures or whatever, well, there's that battery problem with it we talked about. That thing was completely charged, and it's just been sitting in a cold garage for about a week, and it looks like it diminished itself down to about 15 minutes of battery power. So yeah, that's why it's going back, or one of the many reasons. But yeah, battery life on that thing is just not even close to as advertised. Anyway guys, thanks for watching.